Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this channel where we discuss issues that are affecting our country and ourselves individually, economically, financially, and even in personal development and all that. So we thank you so much for subscribing and welcome back to this channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do go ahead and click subscribe, like and share the videos that you find there. Let's talk about finances and let's talk about this country called Kenya and how else we as the common wananchi can be able to survive and make wealth, grow wealth in this country. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I just want to talk about the rumors going around that people are afraid that the government might default on the 264 billion Eurobond that was issued by it in the year 2014. It is true that it is due for its maturing in June 2024, next year, and the government has no option but to pay the investors who invested in that particular bond 264 billion Kenya shillings. Now, that's not a small amount of money. That's a lot of money. Unfortunately, we will not pay that bond in Kenya shillings. It has to be paid in US dollar because it was USD denominated bond. And it was floated in Europe. And of course, the investors came from all over the world, and it's their time to recoup back their money. So the government is in a very tight situation. First and foremost, remember, there is a shortage of dollars in the country. And then they are required to repay this bond at a very high, big magnitude of, it's quite an expensive affair. Number two, remember, the country is broke. By its own admission, top government officials have publicly said that the country coffers are dry. Where you may think it's a joke, it's no joke. Remember, they have even delayed in payment of civil servants' salaries. You know, that simply means there is no money that is in the country. There are kuna pesa in the government coffers. So they have delayed in that. And by admission of our number two in the country is that any amount of money they are collecting now in terms of taxes and other revenues, it's going towards repayment of debts which have matured, which have come back to haunt the new government. So there was a debt that was paid in February. There is another one that will be paid in June, and then another one in December, and then there will be another one paid in June again in February, and then another one will be paid in June, and in June there will be two because there will be need to pay for the investors of the Eurobond. So the economists in this government are they must be scratching their head on where to get this kind of money. It's no joke. To add salt into injury, apart from the government's own admission that there is no money, these are the danger signs that we're experiencing right now economically, is that the experts are warning. I came across this caption about the World Bank giving a record that they expect, or they are afraid, it's like a warning that Kenya might default, might not have the ability to repay the Eurobond. Why is that? It's because even in the world, worldwide, the global debt market is doing badly. With the increase in interest rates in different countries and in different regions to help curb the inflation that is happening worldwide, then this is causing investors to shy away from investing in third world countries, or what we call developing countries. They would want to put their money elsewhere because they are uncertain that they'll get back their investments. This is a dangerous thing because even getting guarantors to guarantee that that if we went to borrow a bit more, that we will be able to pay that kind of a loan, is a problem. It's a big headache for this government. And I know they must be doing something about it, which we may not be privy to, but that is what is happening. It's a danger. We are in a deja vu kind of situation economically. But one of the things that the government cannot afford to do is to default on the Eurobond. The consequences are too dire if they think of defaulting. What would happen if the government of Kenya defaulted? Number one, they would be placed, their credit rating would go down. When that happens, even if we floated another Eurobond, the uptake of it would probably not even be as per the one that had floated before. So you cannot risk your credit rating to go down. That is, you have to do whatever it takes to make sure that your credit rating does not go down as a country. Number two, if the worst comes to the worst, you may find ourselves being put in trade embargoes with other international trade organizations and countries. What is trade embargo? Trade embargo is restriction. So that's what happened to Zimbabwe when they had when Mugabe misbehaved and issues became quite hard for them. So inflation just increased because of that trade embargo. So Kenya cannot afford to go through that route. The government, in my take, the government has to do whatever it takes to pay off its debts and make sure that all their debt obligations are met. What does that mean for you and me? That means that the government will have to create more tax net. They will have to increase their tax net. It means that we have to pay more in taxes. It also means that they have to increase the area in which they collect taxes to increase the taxes that come in. And it has to do whatever it takes, cut government expenditures and whatever it takes to make sure that they have that money required to pay that debt. Now, if the worst comes to the worst, then the government will go to what is called the lender of last resort. It's really called the IMF. Now, the problem with the IMF is this. IMF does not give you aid without strings attached. And most of the time, the strings attached are usually not friendly policies to the common mwananchi or to the common man. For example, they will insist that the government does cuts on this expenditure. And what does that mean? There will be retrenchment. There will be privatization of the government institutions, like Kenya Airways should be privatized. But anyway, there will be stoppage of all the subsidies that the government has been given to its people. Those are some of the things that will affect if we go to IMF. That means you will experience loss of jobs for many people. There will be uncertainty. There will be increased cost of living because subsidies will have been taken away, and every other thing that the government spends that the IMF deems not good for the economy and for their money, which they have given to us. So those are some of the things that we should always be aware of what is happening. So the government, in my own opinion, the government should not, dare not default on what is happening in the Eurobond, and they should do whatever it takes to pay off their obligations. Otherwise, we'll be in a deeper hole than we are right now. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Gishure Irungu. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this video. Let us keep talking about this country, economic, and what's happening economically, and any other thing, self-development. Next week, we'll be talking about personally. Now we move from the government to personal issues, how we can make money online, and I'll be giving one of the parameters that is easy to make money online. Please make sure you subscribe, make sure you're here, and once you get the notification, just go ahead and let's make money online. As the government is looking for money elsewhere, individually let's look for money elsewhere. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next week. See you. Tuonane. Bye.